It finally dropped. Claude Sonnet 5 is out and it is so incredible because some of the features will blow your mind by the time you watch this video till the end. And most importantly, I'm going to also be explaining to you how I personally intend to be using Claude Sonnet 5 and what are the best case studies for you to actually use it, because from what we will learn, you come to realize that the pricing is almost absolutely awesome when compared to Opus 4.8, which is very expensive. And also, I will talk to you briefly about the state of Fable 5 because there is news about Fable 5 that just came out this morning. So stay to the end of this video and actually get that information without wasting time. Let's jump into the show. And hey, before I forget, if you enjoyed this kind of content, hit that subscribe button and I will see you inside. Claude Sonnet 5 happens to be one of the most agentic sonnet yet, as we're about to see. And this really excites me because that certain job I've been doing with Opus 4.8, and I know I'm just basically wasting my money because I should be able to do it way cheaper. But this model is super exciting because it just blew my mind. Now, when I looked at the launch overview and I realized that the capability of Sonnet 5 is so close to Opus 4.8 and the performance narrows the gap to Opus class models at a fraction of the price of Opus 4.8. This is so sweet for me. So the big steps here is it's way above the concept of 4.6, substantially higher than that. You are going to see in a moment how the features actually were way above what the previous model was. And right now, you can access it as long as you're a pro user anywhere, and you can actually start using it right away. The moment you watch this video, it means that it's already active on your own. If you don't see it, just either refresh your system or log out and log in of your Claude account. But my best way to actually use Claude has always been on the desktop app. Most times, if you look at the right-hand side on the bottom angle, you are going to see that there is an update. If there is an update there, hit the update so that you kind of get the new version and everything installed and set up properly for you to kind of get it done. Now, let's take a look at the benchmark of what the report actually carries, which is my favorite part of this entire report that I read. So under the agentic benchmark, you can see that Sonnet 5 sit at 63.2, while Opus sit at 69.2. For me, I feel that's awesome. Like the difference is so little. And we have this agentic coding that sits at 8.4, while Opus sits at 8.2. That's just too incredible, especially given the fact that we are going to now be using it at a way cheaper price. And I'm going to explain to you how you can actually do that so that it makes sense to you and you can actually be at a lower tier and still be able to use your account for way longer before you run out of token. And there's the multidisciplinary reasoning and there is computer use case, which is one of my favorite features, being able to tell my Claude to take hold of my system and do certain tasks. And I also love the fact that I can do that thing with Sonnet 5, which sits at 81%, while Opus was at 83%, like the difference is almost zero. Then when you look at the comparison of the previous version of Sonnet 4.6, you can see that's a real good jump from 7.8 down to 8.1. And that's good. Another key thing you need to understand here is Sonnet is way better when it comes to knowledge work right now. You can see it is at 1618 while Opus is at 1615. If you are doing anything that has to do with reasoning and thinking, you're using Opus 4.8 right now, you're only wasting your token, and there's absolutely no reason why you should do that. So you're better off using Sonnet 5 because it's more than capable to handle that for you. Then we have the agentic performance. Now, Sonnet is able to finish complex and multi-step tasks end to end. You can just give it a goal to achieve, and it goes in there and make sure it gets the job done before coming back to you, which is very cool. And it's able to check its own output without being asked to. So if you ask it, go build me a simple tool, it's going to be able to structure the tool, work on it, build it, and now check if everything is working properly before it gets back to you. Basically, it's able to test, verify, and before shipping anything that you're asking it to do. It's able to also trace failures to the root causes instead of hallucinating and giving you ideas that it thinks is the case, is now being able to actually give you what it thinks is actually the problem here, which is also another important feature. And I've mentioned it before, one of my coolest features is being able to run my browsers, my terminals, and my tools autonomously without it breaking or having any issues. So this is such a cool thing for us to have right now, especially when we were crying already of the state of Fable 5. But yeah, at the end of this video, I have a big news for Fable 5 that you're going to love. So still till the end. And if you haven't hit that subscribe button, now is the best time for you to do that. So let's talk about the cost and versus the effort needed. When you look at there's a strict movement over Sonnet 4.6 at every odd level. And at the highest level, it can actually match Opus 4.8 on some tasks, which is cool now. So you can look at how it goes as compared to Sonnet 4.6 that we had before. This is where Sonnet 4.6 sat, and that was low. And this is now Sonnet 5. So when you look at Opus 4.8 being the lower one right here, when you look at the medium and you look at the high, where the high sits on Opus 4.8 and where the high sits at Sonnet 5 is almost at the same place. I think Sonnet is a bit higher up there. When it comes to agentic search performance level, and when it comes to computer use, you can now see that the Sonnet 5, the high is here, is not that much of a difference from the Opus 4.8, which is sitting at the same direction, which makes it very incredible. Like, there are so many use cases where you don't need Opus 4.8. I'm not saying Opus 4.8 is completely losing its touch. No, it still has its securities and its values, as you will soon notice. Now, the cool part we are supposed to think about is the pricing. How cheap is this thing? Right now, you're able to actually use Sonnet 5 at $2 per 2 million tokens, which is cool. And you're going to be able to use it through August 31st. So please make use of it. And after that, it's going to return to $10 for regular 2 million tokens and $10 for every, I think, 10 million tokens or so. So the pricing, absolutely genius. Loving it so much because this is going to save us a whole lot. Another key thing is safety in this thing. Anthropic just mentioned in their report that they intentionally baked in the security feature into Sonnet 5 because they realize that it also has the capacity of being at greater risk. So that's why you are able to now have Sonnet 5 being able to refuse malicious requests, which means prompt injection is going to be a hard thing to work around with this particular model. And that really puts my heart at ease. You are also going to be able to use it at a lower rate of it being hallucinated and giving you things that are psychophony in nature. We are not going to be having much of that. And we will be having lower overall misaligned behaviors scores on automated audit. So you can see the chart. What it clearly shows when it comes to security angle, Sonnet 5 sits right up there and is way better than Opus 4.8 at this level. So that is really a good news that we need to take into consideration. So we have cybersecurity posture here, where when it comes to using it on browsers like Firefox, it was intentionally left at 0%. But this is where Opus 4.8 still reign, where you need to make sure that you're using 4.8 when you're doing certain browser activities in order to actually stay safe while using it. Then let's talk about the best practice or best case studies we can actually use Sonnet 5 for in this case. Now, you can actually use it as a default model going forward, which actually is the default state right now for pro users and free users. Sonnet 5 is the guy you can use because it can do all your reasoning tasks so well, so good, and very fast. So you don't need to burn your token trying to use Opus 4.8 while doing that. Another use case is for the effort dial. When you add high effort, Sonnet can actually replace Opus on some agentic tasks that will now be way cheaper for you. So you don't really need to waste a lot of tokens on Opus 4.8, all in the name of you're trying to get a better job done when you can actually get it done faster with Sonnet 5. So I really advise you use this before September 1st because you're going to be using it at a way cheaper rate, and I'm going to be doing a lot of testing with it. You are going to be seeing it on the channel as I test a couple of things out and showing to you, and I will see what kind of best case studies we can do around this. So what can we still do with Opus 4.8? Now, this is where I'm going to break this down for you to really understand what the situation between Sonnet 5 will be as compared to Opus 4.8. So 4.8 Opus is great at doing tedious heavyweight jobs, which we cannot take away that credit from it. So this is how I intend to be making use of this. Let's say, for instance, I want to build an app. I want to do a detailed research, design, and build a complete PRD, which is product required document for that app, so that I can break down page by page how I want that app to look. That is the exact task I'm going to give to Opus 4.8 because it has a higher level of agentic movement when it comes to it being able to think strategically, logically, and as an expert in that field to kind of build this, design this in a way that makes most sense. Now, after getting all that job done, what I will now do is I will take the PRD and I will hand it over to Sonnet to go ahead and do the building. Why? Because Sonnet 5 is able to do great level of agentic work in terms of this building aspect. So it absolutely makes full sense for me to actually allow it to do the job of building the stuff while saving a lot of credit in the building phase. So basically what you're looking at now is get a consultant to do the technical job of drawing the layout of the land, designing the structure, and you get cheaper labors that actually have higher qualities to come in and do the job. So you are now getting what you would have spent $1,000 building, and you're building it for less than maybe $300, $400. You can get where I'm going with this. So that is the framework that I'm going to be doing with this. And I feel you should think of actually using that yourself because that's fantastic. Now, over to Fable 5. I'm going to jump back into my system to show you one of the good news that we just received today about Fable 5, also the bad news that comes along with that. So this afternoon, before I just started doing this video, I was going through my Claude account when I noticed this, Fable 5. So basically, Fable 5 is back, and that's a super good news. You can now use Fable 5 as long as you're in the US, I believe. But right now I'm in Canada, and I'm also being able to use it. So I don't know for now what that actually means. If you are able to use it outside the US and outside Canada, or if Canada and US, since they share data services, that's why we are able to do this. But right now, I'm able to actually access Fable 5. When you look at the model list, we have Fable 5 sitting right there comfortably, and it says it's included until July 7 for now. So I don't know what will happen after that. Key thing you need to take note of here is Fable 5 is extremely expensive. You should take note of that. And yes, it's our beautiful Sonnet 5 that is out already. It's cool. So feel free to go in, try some of this stuff. And you can confirm your effort level here. Mine has always sat in high. I've really not seen any reason to take it to extra or max because right now I'm comfortable with using that high. So yeah, that is the good news. I hope this was good for you. So if you absolutely enjoyed this episode, do well to give me a subscribe, hit that subscribe button so that you are the first to see other case studies that I'm going to be dropping using these models as they come out. Thank you to Anthropic for always making sure they are updating these models and making it better every single day because it really helps people like us to kind of continue building and making proper use of these things. So yeah, I'll see you on the next one. Do have a nice day.